This is up the gut. Rate some stuff.
Go on and rate it.
I don't know why. That stuff was gold.
Okay. Well, you started off this week.
I started off with AT&T Stadium in Dallas.
Really?
Yes.
Ooh, okay. I started off at number 10 with Ford Field.
And why did you pick Ford Field?
Ford Field, I mean, it's not anything super extravagant, but, it's got kind of a classic look to it. There's some brick in it. It's ginormous, and it's got a huge Ford logo on the top. I mean, I only drive F-150s, so I just looking at it, and then the poor Lions, they got to get on a list for something. So
we can get them on a list for something. All right, and I picked AT&T Stadium because they were like the first stadium to have one of those giant LED boards. They were the first one.
They are on my list for that exact same reason.
Yeah, so. That's why they cracked my top 10. They're as far as all these newer stadiums that you see, they are definitely older. It's been around for about 10 years now. Yeah, and I just really enjoy looking back at the moments where punchers would hit that board because it's hanging over the center of the field and not out of the way somewhere like it should be.
Yeah, no, and that's the reason that they made my list. You'll find out where they made my list, but they were that first really big extravagant. Yeah. We got Allegiant, we got SoFi, even to the point whatever the Giants play at, that new one they got, the Giants and the Jets. It was AT&T was that first like $1 billion look at me stadium, and it's still, even though it is however old it is, it's still nice. Like it just sucks as the Cowboys playing in it, but still, it's a nice stadium.
Oh no, that has Jerry Jones written all over it. Over the top, extravagant is awesome.
Oh no, 100%. And I just have to get to a comment before we move on. I was told you better have the right one at number 1, or there's going to be issues. I don't know what that is, but I'm 100% positive we have the same number 1 because I saw your list. So I obviously it has to be the right one. So if his number 1, if Rick's number 1 differs from ours, that means he's wrong because we have the consensus here and we have the platform to put it out there. So take that.
That's right.
Take that. Anyway, if you guys have a thought on what we're talking about as far as where we put Ford Field or AT&T, go ahead and comment up there. We'll hit you as we go. I think you started this one, so
I did.
And this is where I put Allegiant Stadium.
All right, this is where I put Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
That's the Falcons, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I put Allegiant. I think I put Allegiant probably the same reason you put that. They're really nice. I like the torch. It's got that cool like glass ceiling over it, and it's really neat looking, but it's also just like it's just nice. Like there's nothing, it's too new to have much history with it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel about Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It didn't even make my list for that reason. It's just a stadium. Had it not been for the torch and that really clear roof, Allegiant might not have made mine.
I just like the Mercedes-Benz Stadium because, it's only a few years old. It's really nice looking, but instead of like a retractable roof, it's got that little thing in the center that kind of opens up like a portal or something to let the sunshine and shit in. And, I thought that was the coolest thing when I first saw that work. It's such a nice stadium. It's such a nice stadium for a franchise doomed to fail forever.
It's that portal into something.
Yes, the portal in the last place, it looks like. See, at number 8 is where I put Allegiant.
Oh, that was close.
We were so
I
close.
think we're going to have a lot of close and probably only one the same. But whenever there's so little, parameters put on something, this could have been anywhere. I mean, we really could have picked anything. So I think the fact that we are getting some repeats, just not in the same spot, is still impressive. What did you say?
That's where I put Allegiant.
Okay, this is where I put Lucas Oil.
All right. Lucas
and
Oil,
it's not anything. It's not super extravagant, but I've drove by it probably more than about any stadium other than Arrowhead, and I really like the look of it. That brick and that. It does they have the combine every year, or they did. I don't know if they still do. I don't think they're doing the combine this year anyway. But it's just, I like it. There's no other way. I have no other reason to put it in there other than I like it. And Alex just asked, what is the criteria? The only criteria being is that it had to be a currently in use stadium?
Yes. Excuse me.
I'm with you. I'm sitting here drinking and eating beef sticks.
That's for my
I keep muting myself.
But no, this is why I put Allegiant because it's really nice looking. I like all like the big tinted windows on the front of it. So it's got that big black look that fits the Raiders since they moved.
It really does. It does have a Raiders feel to it.
Yes, it's kind of got a Darth Vader feel to it because it's all shiny. It looks like a stadium tried to make it look like his face mask.
Yeah, no, I like it.
And I hope at some point, and I know Chiefs fans don't want to hear this, but I hope at some point the Raiders get better to where it feels like they deserve this stadium.
I like it. All right, they're going to pay for it. So before we move on to the next one, what are we drinking this week? Right now, I'm having an Ancient Age bourbon and a Jim Beam and Pepsi. Pepsi is clearly the better cola.
Yes. All you people that say Coke are better, you're wrong. I'll tell you.
Yes.
I don't care.
You just lit up the comment sections.
Good.
Anyway, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a not sponsored drink, but I just really like it. And it's called Ma. I don't know which way to turn it.
Ma.
And that's a bear.
That is a bear. All right. So
this is called the green. Number 7.
It's called the green what?
Green growl. It's like a
green growl. Okay, sorry. Again, there's a slight hesitation from when I press the button to when it happens.
Yeah.
Number 7, I have AT&T Stadium for the reason we already explained. It's like the first, so that's why it probably creeped up a little higher than yours.
Yeah. Number 7, I have TIAA Bank Field.
Ooh, that made it a little higher on mine.
In Jacksonville, because they were the first stadium to have like a pool area.
It makes sense for Jacksonville because if you can't watch the team play, might as well watch the girls in the pool. Sorry.
Yeah. And if you're a fan paying to go to the stadium to watch your team go 2-14, what better way to watch your team go 2-14 than getting smashed on pina coladas and margaritas in your swim trunks, relaxing in that awesome 80-degree water because it's right there in the sunshine.
I honestly, I think whenever we do our stadium tour, we're going to get pool tickets. I don't know what it takes to get them, but we're going to get them. No reason not to.
That's the only way to watch the Jacksonville Jaguars game is you have to get in that pool area.
You don't want to be. We might match up on this next one. I'm going to predict that we're going to match up on this next one. We're going to get 2.
We're not going to match up on this next one.
Are you good? You ready to move on?
Yeah, good.
6.
Yeah, we're not going to match up. This is where I put Lucas Oil Stadium.
Damn it! That means we're not going to match up.
I told you.
You might have my. This is where I put Raymond James.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Down Tampa.
Yeah. And it's a pirate ship.
Yes.
I don't have anything necessarily against him. I'm not a huge Tom Brady fan. I don't hate him as much as I used to, but you got a pirate ship that shoots cannons. That's just awesome.
Yeah, every time they score, it's boom, boom. Could you imagine sitting right underneath that thing? Ooh.
That'd be rough. I'm sure they have stuff ready for it. Oh, my gosh.
It'd be rough, but it'd be fun.
All right. So what's your Lucas Oil?
I picked it because I know it's not an older stadium, not like Soldier and Lambeau, not that kind of old, but it has that really old rustic look because it's brick all on the outside. Not just a couple spots, all the way around. And I don't know what it is about it, but I love those old school brick looking buildings because we got a bunch in our downtown area up here in Great Falls. And I just love walking past them and just looking at them. Just something about the way brick looks. It's awesome.
I don't know what that is, but I mean, I'm cool with a lightning machine, especially if it's mixed with a rain machine and a fog machine.
I'll do some crack research though.
All right. Alex, click like, will you? Like there's a thumbs up.
Amalie Arena is where the Tampa Bay Lightning play in the NHL.
Well, that makes sense then. I'm not big into hockey. I need to be. All I know about hockey right now is that the Buffalo Sabres are on like an epic losing streak, and they fired their coach.
All I know about hockey is that now all the Mighty Ducks movies are finally on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I actually had my kids watch one of them the other day.
That's not true. I know a lot more about hockey than that, but I love the Mighty Ducks.
I still think hockey is one of the highest skill sets of all the sports. You have to be able to skate.
Skating alone is so hard.
Yeah. And then you have to have the hand-eye coordination of Zeus himself to freaking we'll get into it someday. Now's not the day, but man, I've seen some things in hockey that amaze me.
When we have our hockey show.
Plus, they just randomly have UFC fights in the middle of the freaking rink.
Yep.
You get everything there. Anyway, so we'll get into it. Maybe we'll have down the ice.
Cool.
5,
This is where I had TII Bank Field for the Jacksonville Jaguars with a pool.
TIAA.
TIAA.
Yes. This is where I have
Bank.
Raymond James.
See, we were close. I knew you were either going to have Raymond James 6 or 5. I knew it was one of those two.
Yeah, and I grabbed my top 5 because of this pirate ship with the cannons.
It's just cool.
It's so unique. No, like other places have like fireworks and stuff that go off. Neat, but nobody else has a cannon on a real Buccaneer pirate ship.
Yeah, I think one of them actually. Doesn't the Vikings do something like it with a cannon or something?
No,
Seattle's got the drum.
No, they have the Galad horn that they blow before the game.
That's it. The horn, and then the Seahawks have the drum. But I mean, come on, that is not a freaking pirate ship.
No. Although I will say, I forget which one is the Vikings. It's either U.S. Bank or Bank of America. I know it's one of those two. It's one of those.
It's U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is Vikings, and that almost made my list. I like it, but then when I really went and looked at it, it wasn't as exciting. And plus, I can't stand freaking U.S. Bank. Horrible banking institution.
U.S. Bank Stadium is my honorable mention because of the Galad horn. That thing is actually pretty awesome.
No, the horn's cool, but the stadium itself, it didn't make honorable mention for me. I felt like honorable mention was good enough for me. Which
I still miss the Metrodome.
Yeah, I did too. I hated it when the blow up roof fell down. And actually, I almost put Arizona Stadium, State Farm Stadium, as an honorable mention because it literally looks like a blow up, like they just blew it up and it's sitting out in the desert. But I'm like, that's not enough reason, so I just left it off. All right.
Yeah.
4,
We might match here. This is where I put the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
No, we're not going to match until the first one. Sorry.
What'd you put it for?
Arrowhead Stadium.
Wow. I thought that'd be a lot higher on your list, but all right.
Arrowhead, the main reason it made it on here wasn't even for much of what Arrowhead is. I mean, it is cool, but it's because of the fans, really, that Arrowhead made it where it did on my list. You know, they aren't Seattle that is acoustically designed to amplify sound to make it loud. It's just a freaking outdoor stadium built, and the fans are loud now. And also the mystique of the sea of red. I've been there. I've seen it when they're just red everywhere. They're doing the tomahawk chop, and I mean, it's a hell of a field. So, but the three I have ahead of it, I could not put them there.
They don't have to cheat for those extra decibels like someone I know out west. You know what I'm saying? To, 12th man.
12th man? You mean 12th faker?
Oh.
Anyway, no. I liked Seattle fans before they won that Super Bowl with Russell Wilson. The bandwagon's ruined it for me. So eventually, they're doing bad enough now that I'll be okay with them again because they'll lose all those bandwagon. They're all in Kansas City now. So. And they're not in the stadium. They're not doing the Sea of Red. And all our Kansas City fans that watch this, I better get some props for what I just said.
And this is where I put the Superdome because it is iconic. The Superdome has been around for a minute, and not just for football. So many other huge events have been done in the Louisiana Superdome. But it is pretty much the house that Drew Brees built, who we are going to miss from the game. But
I deleted Brees Watch. I can't do it. Sorry.
Well, we don't need Brees Watch. It's official.
You mentioned him, though. This is what was going to happen. Let's go ahead.
But that's also a place where Hulk Hogan made the iconic move where he forgot which dome he was in. He was hosting WrestleMania a few years back. I think it was WrestleMania 30, and he called it the Silver Dome.
I remember that, brother. Okay. Anything else to say on that? Because I don't want to cut you off again. I feel bad.
I think it's cool looking because you got the dome, but if you can get like the blimp view, it's got that huge Mercedes-Benz logo right on the top of it. It's classy. I love the Superdome. I hope to visit one day.
We will. We're going to put this thing on tour once we get some more subscribers. Our first goal is over 100 subscribers because then we can name the channel, make it easier to tell people how to find us. It'll be at the Up the Gut 1. Even if Up the Gut's available, we're going to be consistent. Then it's 1,000 so we can monetize and make you guys watch ads. And then 3, we'll have enough money because we'll start a Patreon. Once we can monetize, we'll also start a Patreon, start offering things for viewers. And then we'll
do the
stadium tour.
Yes.
Even if I have to fund the sucker, I will. And we'll do it. Anyway.
3.
3 is where I get extremely biased.
Oh.
So and no one's going to know what I'm talking about here.
3 is where I
use his official name.
3 is where I put Soldier Field.
You son of a bitch. 3 is where I put Highmark Stadium. What is Highmark Stadium, you ask? It's the Ralph
Wilson Stadium.
It is Ralph Wilson Stadium, the home of the Buffalo Bills,
but apparently more than one place uses the name Highmark, and that's why we were confused the other day. We were talking about it.
Yeah, there's another one that I thought else. Anyway, another high something. But anyway, Highmark, it was official just a couple of days ago. That's almost breaking news. Like it's like 2 days old. But Highmark, Blue Cross Blue Shield has bought the naming rights. And like all the Bills fans will tell you, just like everybody, it is the Ralph. I can't believe that they would call it Hallmark. I would pay the money and call it the Ralph or Ralph Wilson Stadium because that is what needs to be done. The fact that it's not kind of upsets me. Anyway, I put them there for almost the same reason I put Arrowhead right behind them. The fans, the way the weather affects it. We're up north, but we're not a dome team. We're out in the cold. We're the wind whips through and makes kicking impossible, throwing hard. Like it actually, the stadium itself, one of the reasons Buffalo's had so much trouble over the years is no one can throw in Buffalo in the winter. Jim Kelly was a linebacker quarterback. He was big. He could throw a spiral through that wind. Josh Allen is a linebacker big. He throws through there. So not only does the stadium actually partake in making it harder to play up there, but the fans, we were limited in New York. We weren't even allowed to have fans this year until the playoffs. And I think it was like 1,000 or whatever it was. And the players said that 1,000 people sounded like, a full stadium. The fans in Buffalo make it what it is. And I'm saying that as a fan, but never have been there able to do that. But the fans in Buffalo are about as diehard as you can get. Cleveland, Buffalo, these are diehard to the core fans, and they're out there. They're in the cold. They're not in a dome. They're at the game. So that's why I put them number 3. A little bit biased, but I also pay attention. I see what they do. I see what that stadium does, and I know what it means to everybody, regardless of whether it's called Highmark or Ralph Wilson or New Era, whatever they try to call it. It's amazing. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's fine. And that's part of the criteria for this. It's the stadium they use. It does suck that they had to change the name to some corporate sponsor because I hate when stadiums do that. All these teams I have now, I miss almost every one of their old stadiums. I miss the Silverdome. I miss Candlestick. I miss Three Rivers. I miss Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, even though no team is even in that city anymore as far as football is concerned.
The Coliseum.
Yeah, I miss the Coliseum. I forget the one that Seattle had before CenturyLink, but I like that one too.
It's not CenturyLink anymore. Did you see that when you're looking them up?
I did not.
It's called something else. You'd have to do some crack research, but it's not called CenturyLink. And Arrowhead, actually in Arrowhead, it's GEHA something stadium at Arrowhead.
Oh, that's right. The stadium, the one in Seattle is Lumen Field.
Yeah, see, it's already changed. I still like calling it CenturyLink, but anyway.
Yeah, the link.
And the reason it didn't make it is 1, Kansas City's louder, so they take that. And 2, I actually went by it on the ferry, and I thought it was like an industrial warehouse. It doesn't even look like a stadium from the outside. It's weird. Anyway, you were talking about Soldier Field.
This is where I put Soldier Field in Chicago. And it's because it is just so old school. It is the oldest stadium in the NFL. It was built in the 20s, the 1920s. And
isn't it amazing that you have something at 3 that's not even on my list? Though that was one of the honorable mentions because of the history of it.
yeah, it's got a lot of, now, granted, the Bears haven't played all their games there. They haven't been playing in Soldier Field since the 20s. They had a huge break where they played somewhere else. I think they went back in 1970 and have played there since. But the building has always stood, so that building's about 100 years old. And the Bears are our rivals, but there are a lot of guys that played on the Bears throughout history that I really am a fan of.
Same.
That's what I noticed. I think every team has one person on it that I like watching. Every team.
Mm-hmm. What is it? Khalil Mack, isn't that the one that went to?
Yeah, he went there from the Raiders, and he's such a monster.
And I like Trubisky, but now I can watch him in Buffalo.
Well, you can watch him sit on the bench.
I was like one of the only people that like Trubisky. It's so weird.
But yes, Soldier Field. Even if we never, our tour will happen. But if for some weird reason it's not in the cards, I do want to go to one game in Soldier.
Well, yeah, no, I'm definitely down. I think that will be. Obviously, we'll probably hit up Arrowhead.
Yeah.
Lambeau, Highmark. Those will be some of the first ones. Hit our teams.
Wait, Highmark.
Yeah, the Ralph.
There we go.
I'm trying to be consistent here.
Yeah, I got
it's on the list as Highmark. So the Ralph will hit it up. That'll probably be one of the first ones that we'll hit. Arrowhead will just be easier because it's right here.
It's right.
And if we get enough followers, I'm going to try to get media credentials, and then we'll be there all the time.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Anyway.
Yeah, so Soldier Field, I hate the team that plays there because I have to, but it's such an awesome building.
Yeah, and like I said, the history, the reason it didn't make my list and was an honorable mention was the history. But when I think about it, I never really had this like urge to go there. Like some of the other stadiums, I never felt like, man, I really want to go to Soldier Field.
Yeah. I think it's just because it's because I'm more of a retro guy. I like the old school stuff.
Man, look at Alex. Him and I are agreeing. Like, hell froze over. Next thing we know, like the Jets will be winning the Super Bowl. Like, this is weird. I know, right? But I don't even know what's happening. But I agree with him. We both like Trubisky. We think that just needs better coaching that believes in him, that doesn't bench him when he's undefeated.
I don't hate Trubisky. I just knew he wasn't the answer in Chicago.
I think he could have been. I just don't think they. Sometimes people just don't get the support they need when they need it. Yeah. And I don't think the Nagy had it what it needed to do it. So anyway, where are we at? 2. And you're the this is
2.
This is where I put Arrowhead.
Oh, number 2.
Number 2.
This is where I put Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
Nice.
And for all the reasons you said, it looks awesome. It's cool. It's historic. It's probably hosted close to Miami, if not more than Miami, as far as hosting the most Super Bowls. And then at the same time, when tragedy hit in Katrina, it's where everybody was. It's there, and it's just it's. If this ever isn't their stadium, it's going to be. I mean, it'd be worse than losing about any stadium in the league. So that's why I put them so high on my list.
Yeah, and then I put Arrowhead up here because it's one of those stadiums that everybody wants to play at. Like at least one time in their career, everybody wants to come to Arrowhead to play a game.
And it's neat. Like I said, I've been there as an opposing fan. It's a hell of a stadium, but it's more the fans than the stadium itself.
Oh, yeah. Especially now that they're on a winning schedule. Like, they haven't had a lot of fair-weather fans show up. Not a lot of bandwagoners, because a lot of these people have been Chiefs fans for quite a while.
Up the Gut Stadium tour. Oh, but yes, Up the Gut road trip. So I'm going to stall for a little bit while you talk a little bit more about Arrowhead, or we talk about something else, ask Rick if we've said his stadium yet.
What? Wait, real quick. Who is Rick a fan of?
I don't know. I mean, he's in Cincinnati. That's all I know. Like Heather's a Bears fan, but Rick, I don't know.
There's no way he thinks that stadium in Cincinnati is number 1.
There's no way. That's not possible.
That's just him being a homer.
But Arrowhead is a good one, and maybe I'm a little bit watered down just because I am right next to it.
Yeah,
and maybe so I think we might have got it right because he said we haven't said it. So either we got it so wrong that it's not on our list, or he agrees with us and we're good. So I guess
who's number one?
I guess we'll just go
1.
Shout out to little Patrick giving us the numbers, rocking it. I think we should do this together.
All right,
3, 2, 1. Lambeau
Field. And I don't see how you could put anything else there. It is the longest used stadium as far as consecutive years. No team has played in their stadium longer consecutively than Green Bay has played in this building. They also have, I just looked this up. Oh, wrong page. The longest NFL sellout streak of all time is at Lambeau Field, and it's still going.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is, one of the first ones we're going to do is Lambeau, but it's also probably going to be one of the hardest ones to get into.
But if we're the press, I think we just get in a different way.
We'll do our best, but that's why we need you guys to share. And if you haven't clicked like yet, be sure to click like. But
the Packers have sold out every game since 1959. Every single
it's amazing.
And let me tell
dedication.
They have not always been good since 1959.
No.
Pretty much the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. Nobody had remembered that Green Bay was a team unless they played against them. They were terrible. They were so bad, and fans were still selling out that stadium.
Well, it's got a long history. It's got the Lambeau Leap. It's got. My God, I hope he didn't think that.
All the street names after all the legends, Lombardi Way.
Yeah, and the frozen tundra, more nicknames than you can shake a stick at.
Some of the coldest games ever too. Yeah.
And honestly, if I was to, my number one stadium I want to go to is the Ralph.
Yeah,
because I'm a Bills fan. But my number two outside of my team has always been Lambeau. I want to go to a game there. If I can go to a Bills Green Bay game in Lambeau, that's just the cream on the cake. But
in January,
that would be great.
And
maybe even February.
And they're also outdoors in the freezing cold.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, he wasn't even following. So she wrote this, and I'm like, I like the dog pound, but there's,
it's not a top 10.
No. Anyway, and then he likes Three Rivers, but Three Rivers is high. We have Heinz Field now. It's not an in-use stadium, so
I don't even know.
He wasn't even following the rules.
He sure wasn't. I almost like you think he's a Patriots fan.
Don't do no. I agree. Don't do that to him. All right. Well, that was our list of the top 10 stadiums. Actually, a little bit more talking than I expected. This is the longest we've taken a show in a while. But
that's our list. We did it. We rated some stuff.
Hates the Steelers, loves the stadiums. I'm sorry. I got off of it. Oh, I got to go back. Hold on. Oh, my gosh. I'm so confused now. We rated stuff.
Go on and rate it.
And because I'm a horrible person, I forgot my second. I had Soldier Field as an honorable mention, but I also had SoFi. SoFi is amazing for what they built of it, but they weren't first. They weren't second. They're just kind of now one of the – they're same as everybody else.
They're following the trend of these billion-dollar buildings.
So it's amazing, and it's not just the football field. They're supposed to have a whole experience there. They may even have a theme park there, all I know. So it's awesome. It's cool. I'm not trying to knock SoFi, but it's just it took a little while.
Yeah, that's the thing. We're not crapping on any stadium. Oh, the roommate's home. Anyway, we're not crapping on any stadium. Every pro stadium is awesome in its own little way. This is just our top 10. Your top 10 will definitely differ from ours. But I don't think there's one bad NFL stadium.
If you're going to an NFL game, you're gonna love it. And when I've only been to one. I went to a game at Arrowhead, Bills versus Kansas City. We knocked the socks off them worse than anybody's ever done it before. But I didn't have good seats. I couldn't afford good seats.
Yeah, well,
I was way up top, and it was still a great time. I mean, beer prices are going to be ridiculous, but you got to deal with.
that's why I got a pregame.
Yep. They call that tailgating in football, which is another reason Buffalo made it so high. And I'm a little upset that he didn't even put him in there because no one tailgates like the Buffalo Bills. The stadium itself will kick your ass. The fans are one of the best ever, and they couldn't crack your top freaking 10 Ailers.
It's because until they got good, you just didn't hear about any of them. The Bills Mafia
We've never not sold out, though. Like, look up the solid streak of Buffalo. Like, they're always there. Just because you're not hearing them because you're not your team, we're always there, you son of a bitch.